Changes from either side at half-time. It's the same set of players that finished the first half, and it will be York City in that purple strip to get the second half underway in the sunshine at Wembley. We must have a winner today. If we can't find one in this 45 minutes, there'll be extra time and then penalties, and there's going to be a yellow card for Laurie Wilson. Seconds into the second half for that challenge.
Yeah, that's a silly one, that is, from Laurie Wilson. Just started the second half and he's just gone straight through the player. Fortunately enough, Simon Rusk had his feet off the ground. I think he was expecting it to happen. He just skipped himself up in the air. That's why I imagine it isn't going to be that serious. Got his standing foot off the floor. That was a silly one from Laurie Wilson. Don't know why he's gone and done something like that.
Simon Rusk is okay. It's the second yellow card of the day, joining York's David McGurk in the referee's notebook. So it gives York City the chance from a set play to get this ball into the penalty area. With Ben Purkis, the right back, needs a good delivery. Good jump from McBreen. Comfortable though for Chris Day in the Stevenage goal in his first season at the club. Former Watford and Queen's Park Rangers goalkeeper, former Tottenham trainee. Parslow, the York captain, won that. Then Morison's touch towards Boylan. It was appeal for handball. York are furious it wasn't given, and Boylan is left to reflect on the shot, which was off target.
Well, I think they had every right to complain about York City. It's a definite handball by Lee Boylan as he goes there, uses that right arm. He'd be disappointed that he didn't actually hit the target, and I'm sure there have been a lot of York players saying something to the referee if that was actually allowed to stand if he put it in the net.
Lee Boylan has played an FA Trophy final before, back in 2004. He scored in it as well, but unfortunately his team, Canvey Island, lost out to Hensford that day, and he was a loser inside this stadium just 12 months ago as a Cambridge United player in the playoff final. And he's hoping it's third time lucky today on a personal level. That's Richard Brodie, York City's leading goal scorer. That's when the throw in. Sean Petchick with the throw. Headed away by Boswick. Forward by Gary Mills to Peter Vincenti. He couldn't take it in his stride for Stevenage.
That's a good idea by Gary Mills. Great idea to spread the play. That was their strength in the first half. Just a shame, really, that Peter Vincenti couldn't get hold of it. Not a natural wide player. More known to play more centre midfield.
Clear-cut chances have been few and far between in this game so far in the first half. Stevenage looking to pick themselves up after the playoff disappointment 5 days ago. Something that Torquay United tried to do 12 months ago, and they lost the FA Trophy final by a goal to nil to Ebbsfleet. Michael Boswick, who's playing and jumping for that ball right there for Stevenage today, was a member of that Ebbsfleet team. It's cleared by Ronnie Henry, and for a second time. Here's Henry once more. He lifted the trophy here 2 years ago as the Stevenage captain. Morison, who got the 88th minute winner against Kidderminster, is now the skipper. This is Murphy. Mills. Caught late by McBreen.
No doubt about that foul. Just wondered if Gary Mills got to pass it rather than run with it. Perfectly honest, the way the pitch is, just pass and move. That's been their strength so far. No one's really run with the ball a lot.
That's aimed towards Morison. Flicked away by Petchick. In from Henry. No foul on the goalkeeper. Well, the referee's blown now, I think, for a foul on McGurk.
Oh, that's a strange one for me. I thought there was initial foul for me on Michael Ingham when that ball come in from Ronnie Henry. Again, we just see Ronnie Henry run straight past Adam Boyes, far too easy. Tried to go deep with delivery. I think that's where the foul was for me from Jury. There's a foul as far as I'm concerned on Michael Ingham. I don't know how the referee has picked the bones on a foul there. It was a good clearance in the end. I don't know where the foul was for York City.
McBreen, nice little back heel, didn't find Simon Rush though. He applauds the idea. Perkis with the throw. Forward by McBreen. Brodie couldn't bring it down. Henry tried to make it. Boys came in. Brodie had the effort. Appeals for handball. Referee waves away the claims. Had a good view of it.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful there, Richard Brodie. Took his eye off the ball. More concerned about running to the referee. Michael Bostwick didn't know anything about it. It just hit him. He was in the right place in the right time as far as I was concerned. Just see the ball come back to him. Yes, it hits his arm, but it's ball to arm, ball to hand. No intent, didn't move his hand towards the ball at all.
This is Vincenti for Stevenage. Just overrun it, allowed Russ to make the challenge.
Just like I said earlier, Peter Vincenti's got to pass it. He's not renowned for pace and going past people with the ball at his feet. He's got to play to his strength, pass and move.
Chris Day, the Stevenage goalkeeper, puts that straight out of play.
Yeah, I think he's taken a bit of a ribbon from a few of the players. As far as he's concerned, he just made sure, got a full connection and just put it out for a throw-in. Well, I'm just seeing this one come back to Richard Brodie, and he's trying to pull away from it. No. As far as I'm concerned, that's not a penalty. Just didn't like the way that Richard Brodie's gone chasing the referee. Given how it's been during the week, I thought he might have learnt a little bit.
Drury for Stevenage. Steve Morison. Boylan wanted it. He didn't get it in the end.
Well played there by Steve Morison. Really wanted to have a go himself, but it was marked really tight. Couldn't get away. He's just tried to play the ball on the inside of Pejic. Just think the strike partner Lee Boylan just didn't read it.
Brodie's header for York. Mills for Stevenage. Every York player bar one back behind the ball as Stevenage try and get this cross in.
He's getting far too much joy out wide. Again, it's Ronnie Henry starting off as he left the first half. Full control of his game, getting a lot of the ball in forward areas. Far too much time for a fullback.
There's time here for Mills to get the cross in. Morison looking for Drury. Greaves got it away. In from Bostwick. Vincenti with the header. Tried to pick up the second ball as well. Now Morison. Murphy. Hit Parslow. It's a corner to Stevenage.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that was definitely on target. That was from Darren Murphy. Good clean strike as well. Knew exactly what he wanted to do. Looked up quickly, got his head down. Everything over the top of the ball. Fierce strike. He's got a corner from it. I just think York City started the second half of that as they were in the first half, not getting close enough, sitting far too deep. They've got to squeeze up higher.
Drury's corner then. It's towards Roberts, who'd made his way forward. He was beaten to it by Greaves. It's back with Drury, lifting it in. Boylan couldn't get a touch, and in the end it went all the way through.
Just edging closer and closer. They are Stevenage. Steve Morison just couldn't get to that one. In the end, the ball comes across the front of him, but again, they've kept him penned in. Stevenage, Andy Drury just loops one in there, saying, "Go on, someone make something of that." Just couldn't get there. Not enough players are in and around the ball. But I just think they've got to squeeze up better. York, they're allowing Gary Mills far too much time on the ball to pick his passes again. Ronnie Henry still running forward.
Vincenti, player signed by Peter Taylor when he was at Stevenage Borough last season. Now Drury, the cross in. Parslow, the York skipper, was first to it. Murphy, Stevenage pressing more and more. In from Wilson. Comfortable from Michael Ingham, the York City goalkeeper, and he gets it upfield quickly, but too quickly.
Yeah, maybe should have been dropping short for Richard Brody to get that into his body, rather than looking to go route one in behind. Michael Bostwick left a lot of space. There was no way he was going to get beaten by a kick from in behind him.
Drury looking for Boylan. Parslow just about did enough. Brody wins it back for York. That didn't reach Brody, and Stevenage have it back. Well, Stevenage will be thinking, as far as they're concerned, Parks, when they're on top like this, can they grab that all-important first goal?
That's right, that's the position they're in at the moment. They're definitely on top of the game. That's from the first half. It's just that the fact they're not really doing enough in the final third, in and around the box. And again, Michael Ingham hasn't been worked enough, nowhere near enough for a side who's on top of the game as Stevenage are.
Well, let's have a word with the assistant Stevenage manager, John Dreyer.
Thanks, Steve. John, once again, you've got the possession. Do you feel a goal is on its way?
I'd like to think so, really. You know, we created a lot of chances in the first half, and we've started this half very positively and had a couple of good situations. But I think we need a goal now. The game needs a goal, but more importantly, we need a goal to settle us down, and so we can really get hold of the ball and start passing it. But we've started very positively, and we're pinning them in, and you know, I hope we can continue in this vein.
Was the message at half-time just to continue what you were doing?
Well, not only that, I think you know, we need to be more clinical with our finishing. We created 10, 11 chances of some good, some not so good, but nonetheless there was some good chances, and we just weren't clinical enough. You know, we need to head down as opposed to head over the bar. Listen, they had some chance. They had their moments too, and I think it was Boys that had an excellent chance that he hit straight at Chris Day. So they've had their moments too. So we need to be on our guard at all times. But listen, it's there for the taking as far as I'm concerned.
Thanks, John.
And he says the game needs a goal. And the league meetings this year provided 8 of them. At York, Stevenage won by 2-0, and the game at the Wembley Stadium earlier in the season was a 3-3 draw between these two. Steve Morison scored 3 times in those 2 games. He's on the run here, but he had to check his run because of the offside flag. Still trying to get on the end of that ball. No whistle. Referee says play on. Laurie Wilson. McGurk just about did enough there.
I think there's a clash of knees there as well between the two players. Laurie Wilson's in a lot of pain at the moment. Hopefully he'll just be able to run that off him and McGurk. I think they clash kneecaps.
Well, York are going to make a positive substitution early. Onemi Soji is about to come on. This is Simon Rusk for York on the right-hand side. Cleared comfortably by Bostwick. Nice little touch from Boylan. Ronnie Henry, he has covered some ground on that right-hand side today. Cross is a comfortable one for York to deal with, though.
I'm just wondering where Peter Vincenti is. He's made that run there. Ronnie Henry is a fullback, and the left-sided midfield players watching him run from the other side of the field. He's got to be attacking that far post. Just sitting and watching his right fullback make a delivery like that.
Now this is promising for York. Boys, the teenager. Brody points to where he wants it. Boys might go alone here. And he did, and once again, not on target.
That's the way the game's been so far again, but Adam Boyes has got into the game because Ronnie Henry again has made an unselfish run forward. No one has filled into in the space that is left behind him. It goes wide. He should be hitting a target at least. Doesn't really happen, but he seems to come into the game, Boyes, only when he's got the ball at his feet. He needs to be more proactive in this game.
Now it's Daniel McBreen that is going to make way for Onemi Soji. Like for like in terms of a striker for a striker, but it's fair to say a bit more pace and mobility coming on in the form of Soji, Parks.
It certainly is, and they're looking, because the ball is holding up on the park, anything in behind now, this man can chase it, and he's quick enough to chase it. It'll be interesting how the 2 centre-halves handle him now, because he'll be about looking for looking for maybe flick-ons on Brodie. They'll be looking now, York, to stretch the game. Fullbacks maybe looking in behind opposing fullbacks just to really stretch the game out now. And I think the battle again is going to be in midfield. It's about what midfield, if the game does stretch out, can get hold of the ball and make passes with purpose.
Sanchi is on for his 8th career game against Stevenage, and he's yet to beat them. He only ever scored once against them. That was in the 3-3 draw this season. And Sanchi has not scored in his last 11 games coming into this final at Wembley. We have half an hour of scheduled time to go. If they're still level, a reminder, we'll have another half an hour, and if they're still level, we will have a penalty shootout to decide the FA Trophy final of 2009. Boswick's been penalised for the foul on Brodie.
Just seen him, he's a push in the back, and he's made quite a lot of it. Richard Brodie wanted to make sure to the referee that he got that foul, stood his ground and just pushed his body forwards. Definitely 2 hands are in his back from Michael Boswick.
Brodie himself is behind the free kick for York City. The referee just making sure the wall is 10 yards. Brodie's now moved away. Perkis and Rusk are the 2 players behind this. Ben Perkis, the fullback. Brodie's in acres of space, having made it, but York still went directly for goal. It was Perkis off the wall for a corner.
Well, that is unbelievable for me. I just don't think Perkis was alive to it. Richard, just see who we see now. Brodie's just gone wide. Everyone's saying give it to him. He's gone for a shot there. If he gives it wide to Brodie, Brodie's running down on goal. Chris Day would have been in trouble. But it just seemed like he was scared to play the pass. He had one thing in his mind and he just didn't want to change.
It's taken them over an hour, but York City have their first corner of the game. Is it going to be a profitable one? Headed away by Steve Morison, the Stevenage captain. Back in from Perkis. Well, there's a couple waiting for this at the back post. Punch from Chris Day.
What a great decision that was by Chris Day as well to punch.
That's good work from Parslow and then Perkis for York. Mark Greaves got a knock in that earlier set play. Experienced campaigner, won the conference in his Boston days. Spent last season with Burton Albion, losing in the playoffs. Martin Foyle is the manager of York City. Played here at Wembley 3 times. Won here in 1993 with Port Vale in the Football League Trophy when they beat Stockport, and then came back and lost the playoff final to West Bromwich Albion. Former Port Vale manager appointed back in November of last year after the sacking of Colin Walker. But York City won only 11 league games all season. The 3rd worst record in the league. But it's all about winning this game now to end the season on a high. And what would be their first domestic cup success in the history of the club. Brodie battling away with Boswick. That went straight back to Laurie Wilson. And this is Vincenti! Good save by Ingham. First time he's really been called into action.
Well, that's the first time Michael Ingham has done any work. I was there thinking to myself, Vincenti has to take another touch here. That is the best strike of the day so far. A little bit of good fortune to get themselves back in possession against Stevenage, but what a great strike, great shape and a great strike from the big man there. He looks all legs, but I'll tell you what, he's got his shoulder, he's got his knee over the top on that ball, and that's why he's forced a good save from Michael Ingham.
And he's now in that penalty area for the corner which Mills takes. It's towards Morison, who got his head on it. The goalkeeper backpedaled. And then the spectacular effort from Boswick was not on target.
That's the first time we've seen a little bit of explosion from Stevenage so far in the game, and we've seen that strike. You just see everything just look completely right. The save was even better because he's just punched it wide as well. Didn't push it down in front of any oncoming strikers. Got his fist behind it just to make sure he got the power, just for it to go wide.
Henry's header for Stevenage. Now Morison. Drury is offside. No. Yeah, well, the flag came up late. And it's always offside.
Yeah, he initially made the first run when it went back to Ronnie Henry, and he was offside, but the ball went wide to Stephen Morris, but he didn't come back at all, Andy Drury. Just still stood in the same area. Absolutely right. We just see him. He's gone forward and he's still standing now. He's a good yard offside as far as I'm concerned, but he had to work back off the first ball from Ronnie Henry.
Apart from the silverware, there's £50,000 up for grabs for the winners today, which in the times of football at the moment in the Blue Square Premier can be very advantageous. With next season in mind, we now know that both these clubs will be playing in the Blue Square Premier next season. Stevenage, of course, wanted to get out of it. York City succeeded in staying in it at the other end of the table. Christie is going to launch this free kick for Stevenage. Parslow will let that go all the way through. Well, a reminder, it's a big weekend on Setanta Sports in the Barclays Premier League. Straight after us, you can see Liverpool as they go to West Ham from 4:30 here on One. And what a game we've got for you on Monday night, live from St James's Park. A crunch game. Newcastle at home to Middlesbrough, both in the drop zone, of course. 7 o'clock we start on Monday on One. Soji hasn't really got into this game since he came on. I think that might have been his first touch, actually.
To be perfectly honest, he hasn't had much to chase. That's his great strength, his balls in behind people, or even in one-against-one situations. He hasn't been given that opportunity yet.
Perkis, Brody was offside.
That was a good line that was by Stevenage. All the back four, all communicating well together. Without a shadow of a doubt, they just shifted up. And again, he's well offside.
Parslow jumping. This is Lee Boylan. Morison wanted it back. Boylan got it across, and McGurk put it behind for a corner. That could have quite easily gone in his own goal.
He's done well in McGurk because he's gone wide. It could have gone in his goal. And I'll tell you what, here, Lee Boylan just fought back the overhead kick, decides to keep possession, turns far too easy past Pejic, and again, that's good defending, we call it. Didn't actually look that assured what he was doing, but he's managed to get his left foot around the ball and push it wide.
Here comes the Stevenage corner. Over Morison. Roberts got his head in it. Morison! Breakthrough! And who else but Steve Morison? The man who scored twice here in this final 2 years ago, including the winner, has given Stevenage the lead.
I just wonder if that was going to be similar to what we saw against Cambridge when that one he missed when he's almost on the goal line. He had two stabs at it because the first one just bounced away from him. He was allowed to pick up the second one, and here we just see the first header. It's Mark Roberts. There's a surprise, and here's a second opportunity. He makes sure he takes it this time. He just stretches out the first time, bounces away from him, and there it is. It just hits Simon Rusk on the left arm on the way in. But I'll tell you what, even he wasn't going to stop that. And I'll tell you what, again, it's another big occasion, and the big man comes to the forefront, and you just wonder, is there enough in this York side to get this one back? Not seen enough so far.
He loves this competition. He's already scored at Wembley in it. He's already won it, and that is his 16th goal in 16 games in the FA Trophy for Stevenage Borough, and he's 88th in his 153rd game in all competitions.
I mean, you mentioned about his goal, Steve. I've just watched it today, and I've seen his movement, his intelligent runs. Every time players get the ball in front of him, he's bending runs wide of centre halves. He's not standing still, asking for the ball. He's making it easy. Every time a player gets on the ball, he's virtually saying, "Find me, because I'm making a great run here." He leads the line really well for Stevenage, and if he does go, he's going to be a big miss.
It's his 7th goal in this FA Trophy run this season. one that separates the two sides now as we enter the last 20 minutes. The questions now asked of York City, underdogs before a ball was kicked. Can they respond at Wembley Stadium?
He's played ever so well this afternoon for me, Steve Morison, him and Ronnie Henry, and I tell you what, he just persevered there, and he got the luck he deserved in the end because he's worked so hard. And I said before, Stevenage might have to do without him, but as far as I'm concerned, next season, if he's in Football League, I think he'll do himself a good service in that division, because he's not just a goal scorer, he's not static, he's got good agility, good movement.
Goal number 32 this season. Is it going to help Stevenage finish the season with silverware? It's over to York City now. What have they got in response? Graham Westley's men looking to pick themselves up after the playoff disappointment and end the season on a high. Martin Foyle, who's won and lost at Wembley as a player, now needs something from his team as a manager. Mackin to Onemi Soji. Long way out.
Oh, again, that was ambitious, and yes, it's about one of the first times he's had a real look at the goal with the ball at his feet. And I'm asking him, and I'm sure the York City fans are asking him to run at the back four, test him out, can he handle his movement and pace? He doesn't do that, Soji. Takes the easy option, shoots from a distance where he's not renowned from scoring from, and goes way wide.
Murphy's header for Stevenage. Ronnie Henry's ball out to that right-hand side. Stevenage have a corner. York have gone behind on 23 occasions this season. They've only come back to win on one occasion. Doesn't augur well.
Well, this now is the opportunity to double it for York City. I'll tell you what, they need a lot from me. They just haven't really done enough in the final third to warrant a goal.
Drury's corner for Stevenage. Towards Roberts, won by Greaves. Drury again. Ronnie Henry in space. Useful ball. Header! Should have been 2-0. Peter Vincenti. And his reaction tells you that he knows he should have scored.
He's had a hat-trick of headers and he's had a hat-trick of misses, and this is the worst miss so far. Lovely ball in again from Ronnie Henry. He's just inviting, saying, come and head me, and he gets above everybody, and the one thing he doesn't do is direct the ball at goal. Plenty of style in the header, just lacking direction. He's just got to do better than that, Peter Vincenti. That would have wrapped the game up. He'll be sitting there, Graham Wesley, saying, just hit the target, don't worry about too much about how it looks in front of the cameras, just head it.
Free kick to York City, who your sense would have been down and out had that gone in. Chances have been few and far between as they search for an equaliser now. Tame header into the arms of Day.
That's as good as he's got so far in his half. At least it's another one on target for him, but again, there was no real power in the header. Quite easy for Chris Day, as the afternoon has been as well for Chris Day.
Petchik's clearance. Soji. Well, York are going to make another switch, their second of their allotted three. Another teenager coming on, Andy McWilliams, the 19-year-old, who had started every game in the trophy on the way to Wembley. No starts in the last 8 games. He is coming on for the experience of Mark Greaves. McWilliams is a left-footed player.
Just hope he just adds a bit of drive to this York side, because they are lacking. Just seeing something that Mourinho brought to our game, that bit of paper to a player to let him know what's wanted from the manager.
What might he have scribbled on that piece of paper, Parks? What might be the message from Martin Foyle?
Please look like we're going to score a goal. I think it has to be something like that, because at the moment they're not threatening. They've been quite poor up front, haven't been good enough in midfield, they haven't stopped Stevenage playing. The only strength that has been from is just defensively at the moment in time. Michael Ingham in goal has done them a few favours, but I think the back four have kept it at the moment for me only to 1-0. Should have been more. Stevenage are to blame for that for a point. But the back four of York City have done really well sustaining them.
This is Drury, the summer signing from Lewis. Won silverware last year in the Blue Square South title for his former club. And that goal from who else but Steve Morison has put them in an advantageous position here. What do York have to change to try and find an equaliser and a goal, Parks?
I just think they might just have to maybe sacrifice a defender and just try and get a little bit more in midfield so they can get close enough to the midfield players of Stevenage Borough. They've got to squeeze up higher, and they've got to change the way they're playing. They've got to, as far as I'm concerned, put in decent balls in behind the centre halves, angle balls in behind the centre half and the fullbacks, so Soji can chase them down so they can squeeze higher up the park. At the moment the back four are sitting so deep, they're scared to come out. The midfield players are sitting just in front of them and not getting enough players in attacking areas. There we see it there with Perkins, the ball's given to him, starting his run from far too deep. That's why they're getting no joy going forwards. Just got to gamble first and foremost at the moment. They're not gambling, they're behind, and they've got to add a little bit more to the game.
You only enjoy it if you win at Wembley, whether you're a supporter or a player. And it's those Stevenage supporters that are smiling at the moment. They know what it's like to lose a trophy final as well. They did that 7 years ago to Yeovil, which played at Villa Park while Wembley was being redeveloped. In from Petchik. It'll come out now to Ben Perkis for York. Full waiting for the cross. Roberts, who was with a defensive header for Stevenage. Poor ball back in though.
And to be honest, that was their first real bit of pressure, York City, that they put on the Stevenage back four. Parslow, their skipper. Simon Rusk looking for Brodie, who was brought down by Boswick. He's going to be shown the yellow card for that challenge. He went the ground far too easy, Michael Boswick. He should have been really, in theory, running that ball into the corner with him. Just see him. I don't really know if there's any real connection there, to be perfectly honest. Might have gone down a little bit easy, Brodie. At the end of the day, Boswick should have, instead of going to ground, should have just maybe have just chased that ball on with Brodie in towards the corner flag.
Well, they haven't been able to create too much today, York. They have 12 minutes to find something. Can it be from this free kick? Stevenage have every player back inside their own penalty area. Does Brodie fancy this? He does. You could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, definitely had a little bit of turn on the ball. He took control this time. Just goes a little bit high off the right-hand angle in the end. Gets his foot around it. Just couldn't get the ball to come down. Goes a little bit high and wide.
Murphy. Space for Drury out on that right-hand side. Useful ball in! Parslow's mightily relieved to see that go the right side of the post.
I just don't think he could do it. He can see he's blowing his cheeks out there, but he couldn't have done any more than what he done. It was a lovely little delivery into the box, and all he can do is come across the front. He can't let it go. So I'll tell you what, Steve Morris is there waiting to pick up the pieces. Lovely little tempting ball by Andy Drury, just to ask questions.
Drury's corner. Goalkeeper's come a long way and he's got hold of it. Well, let's grab a word with the York City manager with 11 minutes to go. Martin Foyle with Rebecca.
Martin, first of all, talk us through the note that you sent out for Richard Brodie. What was the instructions?
No, it was just markers, really. Yeah, when you take off a big lad like Dan McBreen, and then you've got to replace the right markers. So disappointed it's a set piece. You know, it's been a very tight game. We've had some good chances, they've had some chances, but again, it's that set piece that just, like I say, they win your games at this level.
And Simon Russell going on. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, Simon's going to come on, just going to put him on the right hand side. We've got, what, 10 minutes left, just over. We've got to go forward and try and get back into the game.
Do you feel confident?
Yeah, we do. We're huffing and puffing, but just again, that final third that's let us down most of the season, just need a little bit more clinical, but holding the ball up.
Thanks, Mike.
So Ruskoff and Simon Russell on. And if anyone has a desire to win today, it's he, because he was part of the Kidderminster team that were leading here 2 years ago, 2-0 at half-time, only to lose to Stevenage 3-2, and an 88th minute winner from Steve Morison. Now Simon Russell has been on the bench and seen Morison score again. Now his new side need a goal, but here comes Stevenage with Morison. Drury in the penalty area, so too Vincenti here. Mackin just got back.
I think Sandy Drury was looking for Steve Morison to knock it early. Didn't really feel comfortable on his left foot to try it. Kept possession well. Didn't have enough pace on the ball in the end for Peter Vincenti to get onto it.
Mackin's header. Haven't really begun to get Sodji into the game at all since they introduced him.
They're not playing two strengths at the moment. They need just to get on the ball, and
Here's Boylan. Parslow with the block.
they just need to get on the ball and try and pass it in between the centre half and fullback, just for him to run onto. That's his strength. No point knocking it up in the air to him. He's not going to win too many of those battles. Get the ball down and give him the opportunity to run onto the ball.
Another yellow card for Mackin. Late on Murphy. Roberts wasn't too happy.
To be honest, the game hasn't gone anywhere near that. We have to worry or anything like that. It was a two-footed challenge by Levi Mackie. I do again just think Darren Murphy saw that one coming. Had a little skip as Mackin coming towards him, lifted himself off the ground. Quite fortunate, doesn't actually catch him at all with the studs. I think if he had caught him with the studs, I think it would definitely been off. I think it's a clash of shins and body in the end.
Well, he was sent off against Stevenage on the opening day of this season, Levi Mackin, playing for Wrexham. And he's been shown the yellow card against him in this cup final here. And Darren Murphy, the Irishman from Cork, seems to be okay to carry on. Seven minutes to go. Stevenage with the incorrect emblem on their shirts today as well. Blue Square Premier team, of course. And as far as Stevenage are concerned, even though they've only got a one-goal cushion, and you sense they're almost there, Parks.
They are almost there, but it's that little bit every time there's a dead ball in and around their box. There's always that little bit of doubt. Anything can happen if you allow the ball to be delivered into your box, and as they know themselves, sometimes you need to kill a game off to make sure. And Steve Morison knows better than anybody when he missed that golden opportunity at Cambridge against Cambridge United in the playoff game.
Drury's delivery. Roberts is offside. Taken by Ingham anyway. The referee says play on. There's only Sodji up for York. There's Mackin. Fought by Petchik. McWilliams let it go. And he couldn't get the ball past Wilson.
I'll tell you what, that was their best bit of movement in the game so far, and it takes a substitute, McWilliams, just to actually do an over with Brodie, and it was really unlucky in the end. First bit of improvisation in there in the final third for York City.
Brodie's chasing this with Boswick. Boswick did well. Approaching the last 5 minutes at Wembley. York fans hoping for some inspiration, a bit of quality, something to give them a bit of hope. Only their second visit in their history. 16 years on from their penalty shootout win in the playoff final against Crewe. Wilson, and chased by Russell. Boylan. This is Murphy. And still. Mackin back in for York. Well, the forgotten man of Stevenage is going to get a taste of Wembley. Eddie Anaclet hasn't appeared in the trophy all season. He's only been a substitute once since the 28th of December. And because of all the suspensions and 2 players cup-tied today, he's going to get a taste of the home of football, and he's going to replace Peter Vincenti.
Yeah, that seems an obvious one to me. He's had 3 golden opportunities. Peter Vincenti hasn't taken them. But you bring on Eddie Anaclet, who's got that little bit more defensive side of him as well. Yes, he can spring forward, he's got great pace, but I think he's been brought in a little bit more for his defensive side. It's not a bad little entrance from him, and come on and earn himself a medal in the trophy final after being out for so long.
Murphy gets it back from Boylan. And it would need something dramatic from York City now to take this game into another 30 minutes.
I think we'll need something extraordinary, because they haven't really been a threat at all in the final third. You see them defensively and not that bad. They don't really give a lot of opportunities. Maybe that down to Stevenage as well, but it's just about the most important part of the game is scoring goals, and they just look a side that just don't look like scoring goals at the moment.
That's a big area they'll have to readdress for next season. Remember, just 47 goals they scored in the league, the 5th lowest of the entire Blue Square Premier.
Martin Foyle's got the opportunity to start with a team from scratch and work it his way from the start.
And there's another foul, another free kick, and probably another card as well. It's Andy McWilliams, the substitute, the teenager.
Yeah, he's just done something there that maybe Adam Boyes should have maybe have done. He's just tracked back and just tried to get a challenge in on Ronnie Henry. He's had plenty of joy on that right-hand side. I've never seen him get forward so much in one game, Ronnie Henry. And the one thing I've noticed when he does get in those areas, he's got decent delivery as well. And it's a late challenge, far too late. Not a good challenge at all from Andy McWilliams.
Here comes the Stevenage free kick, cleared by Parslow. York have a free kick as time ticks away. Ben Perkis. Parslow to Simon Russell. Dispossessed though by Wilson. Nonchalance then from the Stevenage fullback.
Not really what you're looking for when you're 1-0 up at any given time. You just want him to keep the ball there, and Laurie Wilson has done great so far. Pushed forward a lot on this left-hand side, not his natural side. Quite comfortable to run with the ball at his feet.
Brodie from distance, comfortable for Day.
As it's always been again, it just hit that surface and the sting was taken out of it. That's what made it easy for Chris Day.
Won by Boswick. Petchik. Final few seconds of the 90. Couldn't get Sodji into play again. And there will be 4 minutes of time to add on. So as we go into stoppage time, Parks, who is your FA Trophy man of the match?
Oh, that has to be for me Steve Morison. There's a bit of a battle between him and Ronnie Henry. I'm giving it to Steve Morison for the fact of the way he's led the line, his movement, and the fact of when it comes to big games, that man can score goals. That's why he's beaten. For me, Ronnie Henry, a fullback who from the first minute has made unbelievable runs forwards.
Well, he's back to defend inside stoppage time as York City take the free kick, but again, nowhere near that purple shirt. But they have a free kick now just outside the penalty area. Drury penalised.
That's all come about because Andy Drury left it far too late to close down McWilliams. Should have got there earlier, got there late, and should have just allowed him maybe just to step past him. But he kicks out and gives away a sloppy free kick.
Well, Ben Purkis, the fullback, has had one against the Stevenage wall, which Chris Day, the goalkeeper, is organising at the moment. But he clearly fancies his chances again, Purkis. Stevenage haven't looked in too much trouble all day. They're almost there, inside stoppage time. The referee wants to speak to somebody before this is taken. Pack it in was the message from Mike Jones, the official. Is this the moment for Ben Purkis? Once again, and it really has been the story of York's day, off target.
Well, I knew it was off target just by looking at Chris Day. It was sloppy. It was sloppy from Purkis, no pace on the ball at all. And if it was going to hit the target, could have got it past Chris Day? I don't really think so. Well, it's a good 3 foot wide. Sloppy in the end.
Well, he knows he's almost there. A roller coaster of a week for Stevenage. Heartache on Monday in the playoff semi-final. Looks as though they're going to be able to celebrate ending the season on a high with the FA Trophy.
Just haven't done enough, York City, to actually even show anything towards winning this. No conviction in their play at all, really, as a side going forwards. A lot of conviction in the back line. So if there wasn't conviction, I think they'd be losing by a bigger amount.
A little over a minute of stoppage time to go. Long ball forward towards Sodji. Very comfortably by Boswick, though.
He's done well as a makeshift centre-half again, Michael Boswick. Utility play, and he's a good one at that as well.
Quick throw to Boylan, this would really seal it! And what a way to win the FA Trophy! They can celebrate now. Lee Boylan, who lost at Wembley with Cambridge 12 months ago, confirms that Stevenage are the FA Trophy winners of 2009.
Well, just talking about defending and bringing out the pillars and falling asleep. Sloppy defending that was, but the two centre-halves totally fall asleep from the throw-in, and he's got every right to be in an offside position from a throw-in, Lee Boylan. But what a finish that was, knew exactly what he's going to go and do, just volleys it, and it just goes up and comes down so quick. Not a chance for Michael Ingham in that York City goal, and what a way to finish this game.
Every player's dream to score in a cup final and win at Wembley. Lee Boylan has finally done it. Some of the York City fans have seen enough. Just their second ever trip to Wembley, and for them it's going to be a losing one. A trophy for Graham Westley in his first season back at Stevenage in his second spell. For the second time in 3 years, they're Wembley winners in the FA Trophy, Stevenage Borough. They put the disappointment and heartache of 5 days ago in the playoffs behind them, And they produced a performance to make sure they finished the season on a high with a trophy in the cabinet. No prizes for guessing that Steve Morison, again the key, his 32nd goal of the season. And then Lee Boylan, who was a loser in the FA Trophy final of 5 years ago, made sure with the second in stoppage time.